live. This is it. This is the big reveal. This is the big one. We have got such a show for you today. We've got people coming in from all over the world already, from India, from Boston. I've seen people coming in from Europe. Hi there to Sarah Cuppen, who's come in, from Mauricio Chavez from California. People are coming in from all over the planet. And of course, why not? It's such a great show. Today is the day we are going to reveal who are the top 100 rising stars in global mobility. How exciting is that? We are going to be revealing who has made the shortlist. We have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nominations. And let me just thank everybody that's taken part in this fun thing that we do. Thank you to everybody who made a nomination, to everyone who's been nominated. There's Vinnie from Portland, Jack from Philly. People are coming in from all over the world. As I said, this is such great news. And you know how it works, everybody. Join the conversation, write in the comments box. If you hear something you like, if you see a name of somebody you know, hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button. Join in the fun. The more you comment, the more we know you're there, the more the world knows you're there. And that's how we make this just the great show that it is, that we want it to be. So let me just tell you a little bit about the top 100. First of all, as I said, we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nominees. So who can be a top 100 rising star? Let me just explain that. The first thing is it has to be somebody in a corporate role. So this list, we have had some lists which are open to service providers and some which are in-house. This is purely an in-house. This is a corporate role, people working for large corporations managing mobility programs. But the other test to be a rising star is, of course, you must be a rising star. And we've defined that as either you have less than 10 years mobility experience or you're aged under the age of 35. So that's what we're looking for our rising stars. So that's today's show. As I said, it's a great show we've got lined up for you. And then what about next week? Well, next week is really exciting. Next week, I'm not going to be here. Next week, I'm actually attending a family wedding. I've got to travel down to it, so I can't host the show. But I'm super delighted to announce that our guest show next week will be the one and only, the legend, Peggy Smith. So Peggy is going to be hosting the show next week. And we're going to be featuring 3 of our people who've made the list today. I can't say who they are yet. I'll tell you at the end of the show. Obviously, I can't tell you who that would be, giving the game away. But 3 of our next generation rising stars will be on the show with Peggy next week. So that's next week's show. And the great thing about this show is not only, of course, is it a lot of fun, but you can also get your CPE credits. And you can get credits from Worldwide ERC, you can get your GMS credits, you can get your SHRM credits, you can get your HRCI credits. Many thanks to our friends at Rocket Mortgage for giving us the SHRM and the HRCI credits. And also many thanks to our friends at Worldwide ERC for giving us those credits. I'll just put those up here now, so we'll leave those up there for a little while. So these are the codes that you need if you need to get your CPE code from Worldwide ERC, from SHRM, or from HRCI. So make a note of those codes if you want. Take a photo of them, screenshot them or something, so you've got those codes. Now, the other thing, of course, is that every week we try and give you some breaking news. And the breaking news is what has happened in our industry in the last 7 days. So without further ado, we've got a cram-packed show for you today. So let's just look at what our breaking news is. Okay, so congratulations to everybody out there who has moved in the last few days. Many congratulations to you, and congratulations to those of you who've joined the Benevo Changemakers. We're always on the lookout for more change makers. So if you're interested in technology, you've got a passion for technology, and you've got a passion for charity, then do reach out to me. Anyway, what I want to do now is bring on our guests. We are delighted. We have partner organizations who have helped us with the view from the top, who've helped us with the top 100. We've got our partner organizations are ECA, AIRINC, Weichert, BDO, Fragomen, Rocket Mortgage, and Deel. And I'm delighted to say we've got a representative from each of those with us today. So it's going to be a really crowded session. So without further ado, let's run that video and let's bring onto stage our guests. And by the way, everybody, hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button, and let's give a really good welcome to all of our guests. Team is in the house. I am super honored. We've got these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guests. So let's just go around the table. Let's find out who is here. So let's just start off. Mike, tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. Super happy to be here to support this group. And just want to say thank you for providing this platform. I mean, we're super excited to be able to continue to sponsor, and I think it's just great for our industry that you continue to recognize these individuals. But long story short, my name is Mike Kluge. I lead our sales and account management teams for Rocket Mortgage for our relocation as well as our affinity business.
Okay, and sticking with the mics, let's move from a Mike to a Michael. Michael, tell us about yourself.
Yes, thank you. Welcome. I wish I could run on stage because that, the cue from you, it kind of, builds up the momentum. So thank you for that, Brian. Good morning, good afternoon. Michael Witkowski from ECA International. I head up the ECA office here in the States. And yes, very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, and moving from ECA to AIRINC. Rob, tell us a bit about yourself.
My name's Rob Zeitz. I'm a client engagement manager at AIRINC. I work with clients in the central US and Canada, and I just want to echo Mike's statements that I think these lists are great. I love that Benevo creates these. It's a great way to recognize people in our industry.
Okay, and we've got Julia. Everybody knows Julia, of course. You're on every week, but just quickly introduce yourself for anybody out there who may not know you.
Oh, yes, I'm Julia from Fragomen, and I'm super excited to be here today. I'm really, really excited to see. I don't know who the stars are, and obviously everyone's a star, but it's really, really lovely to be here.
Okay, many thanks, Julia, and we'll get on to who the people are in a moment. But Mark, we've got Mark Bennett. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And I'd just like to echo other comments. It's a real pleasure to be here. I mean, we spend so much time talking about talent pipeline on behalf of our clients and our industry. To really see such an incredible representation of young stars inside of our industry is wonderful. I'm Mark Bennett, and I am the Executive Vice President of Global Client Services for Weichert, and thrilled to be associated with the program. Looking forward to today.
And look, great to have you on the show. And Steve, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, everybody. Steve Hoffman, pleasure to be here. Normally I'm out of the Boston area. Today I'm in the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, so bear with me there. I work for Deel on the Alliance team here. And if you're not familiar with Deel, we're the fastest growing software company in the world. And we support the work anywhere function and allow companies to hire remote employees and contractors globally on our platform.
And last but by no means least, Matthew from BDO.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Great to be back here on the show, and good shout out to all my my friends, colleagues, clients in the industry. It's been a great ride. So I'm Matthew Pasquale. I'm one of the national practice leaders here at BDO for the Expatriate Tax Services Group.
Excellent. And of course, I'm here to represent Benevo, who is a end-to-end technology company who hopefully everybody knows from our weekly shows. And I just feel delighted to be able to do this on behalf of Benevo. Anyway, we're going to get on in a moment to talk about, or to see some of our lists, see who's out there. The way we're going to do it is we're going to show 25 names at a time, and they're in alphabetical order. So we'll show the first 25 in a moment, and then a bit later we'll show the next, etc. Split out through the hour, and we'll have debate as we go through on that. And then at the very end of it, we will show you the website that we've developed, and you can all see the website. You can go on there. You can go and congratulate everybody. There's a wonderful mechanism on the website where you just click on it. You can send a congratulations message out to the person who's on the top 100 list, and it will go through to their email. So fabulous bit of kit, and many thanks to my friends on the technology side, in particular Ben Mock, who put together this website, and many thanks to all the hard work that's gone into that. You'll see that in a moment. And also a big shout out to my good friend, he's not on the show today, but he will be with us by video, Vinnie Valverde, who will be with us later on in the show to share some tips. Vinnie, of course, was top the poll in our top 250 global mobility professionals in the world. And he's going to be sharing some of his thoughts on, if you like, tips for the next generation. So those are our partners. But without further ado, shall we find out who some of our top 20, or who are the first 25 of our top 100 are? Would you like me to run the video, guys?
Yes, definitely.
See it.
Okay. So the deal is this, okay, out in the audience. If you see names that you know, people that you like, people you admire, or generally you want to be supportive, you know what to do. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button, and let's see the screen light up. Okay, so let's find out who are the first 25 on our top 100 list. Wow, wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? Here we are, the names are all coming up. So, Rob, I'll start with you. Rob, a comment someone made to me earlier today, and I just want to share it. And isn't this just the best industry in the world? Isn't it just wonderful?
I think, yeah, it's definitely up there. It's different every day. What we do is so important. We're helping people move their lives and create opportunities, and not only help their company but help themselves grow.
It's just, I just adore this industry. I've been in it for a long time. But Mark, I mean, you were born into this industry, weren't you?
Yeah, well, not quite. I think there was an 8-year gap between birth and entry. So I wouldn't say exactly born, but yeah, to a certain degree. And I know my father entered the industry with a passion for thinking of the global side. And what's really struck me is that this industry has really been so dedicated to delivering a great employee experience. And yet at the same time, so many connections that people have made globally all around the world, people that are on the chat here. You just see so much representation from so many parts of the world. I think it's an incredible interconnected industry, but yet an incredibly global industry at the same time. And there's not many that are that personal, yet at the same time serve so many. So really is a tremendous place for new people to enter too.
It is a wonderful industry. I mean, even when we compete with each other, I think we are, what's the phrase, frenemies, that we're all friends, even when we compete. I mean, it's just such a great industry. I mean, I'll ask you a question, Michael, if I may. I mean, if we go back to that was then and this is now, what's like one big change you've seen over your career, and if you're talking about the next generation, what they're going to see more of?
Well, thank you for the call out and aging me here. I appreciate that. I think overall, it's the use of social media, man. It's, I mean, you go back to, 10, 15 years ago, what it is now. I mean, the mobility industry has grown so much over the social media. The context, thanks to Benevo and thanks to other platforms, has made it so easy and almost effortless to stay in touch, to get to know each other. Before it was just, we have to go to conferences, we have to, network and get phone calls in place. Now it's just you go on a virtual world, and I think it's a wonderful platform, and I think it's something that all these rising stars, I'm sure they're leveraging to polish up their, skills and knowledge and network of friends within the industry.
Okay, and I mean, Steve, you're with a really new company. I mean, so many companies have been around for 50 years, 100 years. Your company's been around for what, 4 years? I mean,
3 years, 5 months.
Where do you predict things going?
Well, the pandemic certainly changed everything, right? And we realized that we can do our jobs from anywhere. And I'm doing it from Atlanta Hartsfield Airport right now.
Yeah, we can see people in the background. They're moving around. Absolutely.
All good friends of mine. But I'm sorry, the question exactly was what, though? Like, where do we see this going?
Where do you see this trend going?
Well, I see it's going to be a combination of mobility and work anywhere. And for mobility really to adapt and survive. And I think everybody in the mobility industry, to do their jobs, we're all problem solvers, because we're faced with the most unique challenges in global workforce management. It's exciting. And one extension of that is a globally displaced workforce, whether they're an expat or a remote hire. So, and the technologies and the innovations, especially innovations that Deel has done in the global remote workplace and being able to hire folks remotely so quickly and compliantly, it certainly adds a layer of just complexity, but solutions out there. So it's exciting.
Absolutely. Okay, well, whilst we're talking about exciting, we've seen 25 names. Should we see a few more? Should we see another 25? Okay, everybody, you know how it works. If I said it once, I'll say it 100 times. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button, and let's give a really, really big, we'll share the love, a round of applause to our next members of the top 25, or the top 25 members of the top 100 of the rising stars. So let's see who are the next 25. grab names. Isn't that great? Yeah, let's shout out to everybody. That's great. So Matthew, I mean, you've been in the industry for, well, let's be polite. You've been in the industry for a few years. You're very experienced. And from your perspective, the changes that we've seen, and what about the types of program that we've seen, the changes in the types of program that we've seen over the last few years, and where do we think that's going to go?
Yeah, well, actually, that's a pretty exciting topic, right, Brian? With the pandemic, everything was shutting down. Companies were kind of watching their cash. And now, a couple of years later, new programs have emerged, whether it's remote workers or similar. We didn't see a lot of business travel, but we were talking before the show, there's a lot more business travel now. We're all getting on planes again. Things are feeling a little more normal. So what's happening now, there's obviously this talent war. How do we hire? It's okay to hire remotely now. So someone said it earlier, it's kind of this balance between mobility and, working remotely, working from anywhere. So I do believe this will continue to evolve, and companies will continue to kind of drive new policies and anything that's going to support their growth and their ability to hire, which is getting, I think, very difficult, so that's it. Those are some initial thoughts that I have, Brian. And
Rob, from your perspective, what are you seeing in terms of the changes in the types of program?
It's very similar to what Matthew just said, but also programs being more evaluating themselves more and trying to understand, why do we do this? What do we want to achieve with this, as opposed to just kind of doing what's always been done or what's always worked. They're not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel, but they understand where do they want the wheel to go now. And also being more open-minded and trying new things, and also trying to figure out what they can do. What other challenges can they take on, whether it's remote work or sustainability or DE&I? What other things can mobility do to help out their organization and their employees?
Okay, and Julia, let's bring you into the conversation. One of the other changes that I think we must have seen over the last God knows how many years, and we'll see more of, is a focus on compliance. And I appreciate that's going to be very much in your bag and, of course, in Matthew's bag as well. But from your perspective, from the immigration perspective, what have you seen in terms of changes in the focus on simply being compliant?
Yes, I think it's a good shout out. I think it's super exciting to see all these names, and all the people that we're being recognized today are all very good at managing change. And as you say, one of the big changes is compliance, because I think technology has meant that it's very easy to set up a trail of what's happening, and governments are much more astute to monitoring borders, and just generally, not just in immigration, but employment terms, corporate terms, there is a lot more focus on compliance. And so the burden on the companies and global mobility is much higher.
Okay. And Michael, from your point of view, are you seeing a bigger focus on compliance now than before? And where do you see that going?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I think it's definitely brought by the whole idea of working from anywhere. I think that brings a whole level of complexity from immigration, tax perspective, payroll and whatnot. So including benefits, including salary, where you base it from, what kind of benefits you offer, things of that nature. And I think there's still a lot of gray area in terms of where everything falls from compliance perspective. I think not only the mobility folks are trying to figure it out, but also, quite frankly, countries are trying to figure out what to do with it, how to tax it, how to approach it from immigration stuff. And being that it lands on the hands of mobility, because it is mobility related, it's the compliance aspect, that piece, it definitely falls onto mobility desk and hands.
Okay, and I think let's now look at 25 more names. Why not? Let's go for it. Okay, let's see who are our next 25. So that'll be numbers. We've done 50, so we're now 50 to 75. They're not in any ranking order other than alphabetical. But let's see who are our third group of our top 100, the next 25. So many great names. So
Fantastic.
let's start with you, Mark. Did you see any names that you recognize?
I did. I saw a few. I would have thought I would have known more, but I mean, what that tells you is how deep the bench of new talent is, really, and it's so encouraging to see so many people entering this business, as I said before, with such an interesting and broad perspective in different roles. But it's fun, and that's what's so fun about watching this program is that you see familiar faces and you see new faces all at the same time, and it does tell us that we're doing some good things, despite the fact that we always malign ourselves for not driving enough talent into the industry, because it's such a circular route that most people take that it's great to see such an evolution of strong talent.
I think that's such a great point that, sometimes we can be surprised by the names we all live, I think, in our own little bubble. And, we think we know so many people in mobility, and it's only when we actually compare that to the people that other people know. I know from my perspective, I think I've got something like 14,000 followers on LinkedIn, which is a huge amount. And I thought that I probably know most people in mobility. Well, I was looking at somebody else in our industry who's also got about 10,000 followers, and we only had about 2,000 in common. Well, actually, how big is this industry out there? We are all sitting in our bubble. I mean, Steve, from your perspective, you've been in the industry a while. Are you always sort of surprised at how many people there are out there that you don't know?
No, I'm not, because this industry, it touches on so many different areas of expertise, and probably I'm a good example in that. I guess I've been in the business for about 11 years, but I've done a lot of expat benefit work, international pension plan work, mobility tax work, and now I'm doing remote work, which touches mobility. And so the talent pool that touches mobility is just so broad, and it's just more of a matter of how involved you are in mobility. And what I find super interesting is that a lot of the mobility managers out there are also changing their roles to mobility manager and remote work manager, and then also benefits and mobility. So, yeah, it's quite diverse.
That raises a great question. And Rob, I'll just go to you. Rob, are you seeing people changing their roles in the industry, going from being more than just mobility to having remote work as part of their job?
Definitely adding that to their role, or changing to that, or having a title that kind of encompasses that, or adding something related to talent. I've definitely seen a lot of title changes in the clients that I work with. Not necessarily moving away from mobility, but kind of applying mobility lessons and mobility knowledge to other roles where it can be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, Julie, I mean, you've been in this industry a while too. I mean, we see name changes, don't we? I mean, it starts off as sort of, in many cases, international assignment services or international executive services or expatriate or mobility. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you think the name we've got is right now? Do you think we should be moving away from mobility, or is there a better name for what we do?
I think the name changes just reflect how much more complex the role has become, and how, you know, not just the complexities of the moves, but the fact that, you know, talent has become so sort of scarce and sought after and important and strategic to the business. And it's a reflection of all the changes and the crisis management that has to be dealt with, and the elevation of the role, really. And the fact that even business visitors and everything that Steve is dealing with, you know, the new technologies, you know, that's all now part of your role, isn't it? You know, so I think the role has just grown exponentially since the beginning.
Yeah, and in fact, when I listed out that list of names, of course, another phrase I could have used and I didn't was talent mobility. So I mean, but if we take it from your point of view, Mike Kluge, I mean, the employee experience and managing talent, I mean, how fundamental is that now compared to maybe what it was 10, 12, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, and I think obviously everybody on this call is focused on that client experience, but it's changing. I just keep thinking of the words evolution, innovation, new ideas. And when I see the group that's up there, and I've got to give a shout out to Melissa and Adina from our group, just knowing that they just got into mobility a number of years ago and they're already being recognized as up and coming. It's just that constant learning process. And I think that falls back on us as a business too, is how do we continue to evolve our service so that it is consumable in a simplistic way, available for our clients when and where and how they want to consume it. And I think just that consistent evolution, I think, you know, that's what's great about our industry and seeing this talent develop and what's coming is that what's here now will not be what we need to deliver in the future. And so just that constant thinking of being obsessed with finding a better way and trying to work together as an industry, but also with the new mobility professionals on what ideas they have. What do we need to continue to work on as a business to build out the future of what our service needs to look like to continue to grow within the space?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a show on it one day. But it does make me wonder, this term mobility, I'll ask for your comments on that, but Matthew, but when I tell people I'm in mobility, some people think I'm doing something to do with cellular telephones. Other people think that I'm doing something to do with walking aids for disabled people. Some people, I don't know, I mean, you get... some people think I'm doing something to do with cars and, you know, the automobile industry. I mean, as a term, the word mobility has got so many different connotations. I do wonder, actually, if where we're moving to, especially as people start moving more remotely, is into some form of workforce deployment industry as opposed to mobility as such. Matthew, what are your views on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've always liked the term mobility, but I'll be honest, in doing this for 25 years, I mean, the terms have come and gone and they come back again. And, you know, it's funny, you asked my kids when they were younger what daddy did, they'd say he moves people. And they always put a big smile on their face. And it's so much more than that, right? And obviously I'm more focused on tax, but, you know, they kind of saw it that way. So, yeah, I kind of look through the lens of my children sometimes to be like, okay, what do we really do? And to what you were saying before, the hats that these mobility professionals are wearing and these rising stars, you know, they're getting much bigger and there's just these roles are expanding. We all have to adjust. So technology is a big part of that, no question. But I know for us, you know, at BDO, we're still really focused on the employee experience and really focused on the service. So, you know, it's kind of finding that balance. How do you do things better, more efficiently? You have all the social media aspects of it, but at the same time, that personal touch and being with the people, you know, as they move and as they take on these adventures.
Okay, I'm going to move on now. We've got a very special guest who's going to be joining us by video, and I actually know that he's in the audience as well, because I've seen him commenting whilst we've been live. I'm really delighted to say that we've got a video from a great friend of the show. Please call him a buddy, Vinnie Valverde from UPS. Vinnie, of course, topped the poll of our top 250 in-house mobility professionals earlier this year, or back end of last year. And it's almost like a passing of the baton, that here we have Vinnie, who is very much a very seasoned global mobility professional. As I said, topped our poll last year, sharing his thoughts on where we should be going, or congratulations to the next generation. So let's just have a look what Vinnie has got to say. And again, Vinnie, if you're out there, please do join in the conversation on LinkedIn. But let's hear what Vinnie had to say.
Congratulations to the Global Mobility Top 100 Rising Stars. My name is Vinnie Valverde, and I'm the Director of Global Mobility at UPS. I don't know in what stage of your career you're in, or even if you realize what you want to do with your professional life. Well, one thing is certain, you already found the best industry. Looking forward to working with you so we can together drive the industry into the future with fresh ideas and new perspectives. A couple of things to keep in mind. Believe in yourself. Don't let others define your professional passions. Have your own purpose. Be a lifelong learner. And best of all, work hard, play harder. Congratulations again. Take care.
Oh, that's lovely. That's so nice, Vinnie.
That's great, Vinnie. So yeah, woohoo, Vinnie, as someone said. I'm not sure who said that. So I mean, great comments in there. But let's just take some of that Vinnie said, and maybe start with you, Mark. What would be your words of advice for somebody coming into the industry now, maybe even slightly below the level of our rising stars, to make the most of this industry?
Yeah, Brian, I think it's a great question. I think that this industry has probably not been the most progressive in the last 15 years about change. I think people that come into the industry look at it and say, it's kind of interesting. It's got its rules of engagement, but it hasn't evolved to the extent that it has. I think that's different, and it has been different in the last 5 years. I think we've seen a huge amount of change, whether it be technology evolution, whether it be, to your point, around people looking at policies differently, employee empowerment, flexibility, all of those different elements that are really driving, HR policies and the like. So my advice would be to continue to push innovation, be agents for change, bring fresh ideas, and really encourage disruption, because I think disruption is something that challenges old rules and makes us better at what we do. And the one other thing that I would probably tell them is to continue to drive attracting people into the space, because I think the more talent we get, the better we are and the better that we evolve. And somebody had said something very interesting to me the other day. They said there's fluid intelligence that typically exists between people between 20 and say 45, which is really all about innovation and change. And then sort of 50 on, it's considered crystallized intelligence, where we're using and leveraging our wisdom as opposed to our innovation. And so what I'm saying, without identifying my age, is that I might start with a crystallized, but we're counting on all those with fluid intelligence to really drive us all forward as we continue to evolve as an industry.
Okay, Rob, I'm going to bring you into the conversation, because I think actually you are sort of, how do I put this now? You're the youngest, I think, of our panelists today, and so you've been in the industry for I think about 10 years or so. But Rob, from your perspective, I mean, some of the comments that Vinnie made out there, I mean, he talked about lifelong learning. I mean, how important is that from your perspective?
I think it's very important, and I also think not just lifelong learning, but it's never too early to start being a teacher. Like Mark said, people come in and have these fresh ideas and fresh perspectives. You should continue learning. You should continue learning even once you're in that crystal stage that some of us may be in. But when you start out, you can still teach people. You don't have to have 10, 20, 30 years of experience to teach lessons and to bring those new ideas, and to make sure that we are being a little bit disruptive and in a good way, in a productive way.
Okay, and And Michael, from your perspective, I mean, some of those comments that Vinnie was making, he talked about believe in yourself, don't let others define your professional passions. He talked about have your own purpose. I mean, what resonates with you, Michael?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a company that was they do T-shirts and whatnot, and they have a little logo, and kind of what it comes down to is do what you love and love what you do, right? And I think when you kind of combine both, do what you love, is that if you're committed to mobility and whatnot, if that's your passion, the world is yours. But on the flip side, love what you do. So you simply, yes, you do need to make sure that you're in the organization and you're in the role and you're with the team that values your opinion, values your views, values you as a person, and values you as an individual. So I think those two need to go hand in hand. And so yes, I echo that enthusiasm. I echo that kind of passion for everything. And I think it's if you have it just period in life, you'll be successful in your in life as well as in your career. So absolutely, we can all learn from that.
And Matthew, if you were talking to your younger self, or you were talking to somebody just coming into the industry, what advice would you be giving?
Well, for me, this profession, it's about helping others, right? It's about individuals that are moving, that are relocating, that are going through highly stressful situations, and we're all here to help in some way, whether we're on the corporate side or the service side. One advice I would certainly give to myself, and I took it, thankfully, was to experience it firsthand and be an expat or be mobile and raise your hand to do so, because I think you can learn a lot from what your clients are going through, right? Or when I say clients, could be your colleagues that you're moving on the corporate side or on the service side as well. So I lived it. I really enjoyed it. I learned what worked, what didn't work, and able to kind of take those life's lessons in my crystal years, although I'm not crystal yet, Mark, as you said earlier. So I'm still younger, but looking forward to teaching and paying it forward to the younger colleagues now.
Okay, let's look at a comment here from Nikola Radinovic. He says, today's GM professionals are more than just global mobility consultants. As industry is becoming more and more digital, and even the governments are picking up, an industry peer is also an IT consultant, process optimizer, automation expert, and alike. So, Julia, what do you think about that? I mean, are we becoming generalists as well as specialists, multi-specialists?
Well, I think I sort of touched on that earlier. I mean, I think it's not just generalist. I mean, I think your knowledge of the IT has to be quite detailed, actually. I don't think it can be generalist. But I really like something that Drew Phillips just put up, saying disruption is great. I think that's
disruption is great. Disruption,
I thought that was really
industry is a game changer.
Yeah, like change is a friend, all these disruptions, changes. If you can just be agile, and also someone just said, you have to be a lifelong learner. That's the best advice I'd ever give anyone. Okay. And Steve, I mean, we've talked about lifelong learner, but I know you've moved in different industries within mobility. Is it about being agile as well, being able to adapt to new situations?
Definitely. It's about being able to problem solve. Everybody needs to be a problem solver. And if I could just go back to your other question, what advice I would give, it would be never stop networking. Because when you network, you learn, and you learn of other resources, and you can incorporate all of that into your job that you do to serve others. Yeah, that's so true. And Sandra's just said that lovely thing. And I must say, I connected with Sandra only through LinkedIn, and I feel like she's a best friend. So it's amazing, the power of collaboration and meeting people through social media as well.
It is amazing. I met some people at an event the other week, and these are people who I knew and they knew me through the shows, but I never met them, and we just felt like long lost friends. It's just fabulous what you can achieve with networking in this industry. Okay, so shall we look at what we're going to do? Is we're going to look at our next group, in fact, our last group of 25, and then after that, we're going to carry on, discuss a bit more, and then we're going to be showing you the website and how people can see what's going on. People can send the congratulations, the messages. So let's do that. So let's show our next 25 then.
Well done.
Amazing, that list, and congratulations to everybody. But everybody out there in the audience, just bear with us because we're going to show you how you can get to the website, how you can congratulate them, and we're just going to talk a little bit more about some of the comments that have come up here from the audience. So let's just pull up. There's some comments I saw. Let's just treat this one here. Let's just pick up this comment here from Laura Bain. Treat every work colleague and client contact as a partner. Be on the same team, pulling in the same direction towards solutions. Learn from mistakes, but focus on what to do looking forward. I mean, comments on that. Mike, what do you think about Laura's comments there?
Yeah, well, it resonates real well here. We kind of live by the motto, one team. I'm sure everybody has their sort of rallying cry, but like, we're stronger together. And I think part of it is don't be afraid to fail. We're looking for new ideas, fresh ideas, taking chances on trying to innovate, which I know is a common theme that we've talked about throughout the show. But you don't innovate without trying new things and realizing that some of those will work and some of those won't. Learn from them and keep moving forward. So I agree. I mean, you can operate as an individual and you'll only get so far, but the more you align yourself and surround yourself and work as a team, you're gonna travel a lot further. And Mark, I mean, you're second generation in the industry, which makes you, I think, unique amongst us. What sort of advice did you get, if I can ask, from your dad when you were first coming into the industry? And what, I don't know whether you've got kids who are coming into the industry or not, but what advice would you give to the next generation coming into the industry to keep passing that baton down?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm trying to recall the day that I actually left the industry out of the gates just because I'd heard so much of it as a kid. And I decided there's got to be something else out there. And here I am. I came back after 4 years out of it. And so I just saw the passion and the interest that my dad had. And it was at a time when, globalization was evolving in a significant way. And it was just so interesting because it was breaking down a lot of boundaries about just different components of what made relocation and mobility successful. And I think over time, what has really happened, and I think about that almost as sort of a handoff supply chain. And over time, you've seen this interconnected, integrated supply chain really working fundamentally and well together to deliver a great employee experience. And I really still think that we're in the early innings of what really can be an incredible ecosystem for a client experience as we all continue to work together. And I think you used the term frenemies, but I really think that the more that we get cooperation between people in a much mature way to create that incredible ecosystem, which we're really all striving towards, I think we're getting better and better at it. And I think that's an exciting part of it. And it's so much more exciting to be part of something that touches so many different skill sets inside of a career, and at the same time touches so many places around the globe. So it really is a unique business. And so that would be my advice. And certainly one of the comments on the side that I could talk to was Marilee Bratt. And she was just sort of talking about the need to continue to educate the business on global mobility, because we all take it for granted because we know it so well. And yet outsiders looking in sometimes look at it and say, that's a lot of money. Do we really need to do that? And there's such a big part of that adds tremendous value in elevating exactly, our purpose in life and what we can do and the way we can bring value. So that would be my advice.
Okay, I want to bring to the conversation my very own rising star, Tali Gorin, who has helped me amazingly over the last few months. Let's bring Tali in. There we are, Tali. Tali, it's great to see you. Great to have you on the show. And I know you've been doing a huge amount behind the scenes today with all the posting, but more importantly, helping get together whole top 100. So big congratulations to you for all the hard work in putting the list together. So everybody hit the heart button. Now you know what to do. Hit the heart button, hit the applause button, hit the like button, and let's say a big thank you to Tali for all the hard work she's done, all the outreach she's done, all the work putting together the list and putting together the website. The website is now live. So Tali, why don't you tell everybody how they can get to the website, what they can do with it, and all the excitement that is out there. As Vinnie said, Dr. Tali Gorin is indeed amazing. There you are. You have it from so Tali, make it feel.
Okay. So thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. And really, it is so exciting. So yeah, we have our new website for all the rising stars, and my huge congratulations to everyone who is on this list. And it's such an honorable list. So here you can see, and I will share the link so you can see all 100 rising stars, again, alphabetically by last name. And at the bottom, you can see the criteria for the nominations. So under 35 or less than 10 years. And let's see how you can congratulate each one of these wonderful rising stars. So let's take, for example, Erin Walters. So if I'm going here into Erin Walters, into her page, this will open the page of Erin and will tell us a few words about her. And we can also congratulate her here. And Erin, if you're watching the show now, what I ask you to do, if you would like, copy the link at the top of the page, go into your LinkedIn, and yeah, here you can see all of you guys, but let's go home. Hi, Radhika. And we're going to be able to share a post. Sorry, that will take me a minute. But once we share a post, bear with me, we're still remembering that we copied Erin's link, and here we are. So Erin, once you copied your link into the post of LinkedIn, here we're going to see you here. And then all your colleagues would be able to congratulate you, to go into this page and see the wonderful achievement that you made. So this is about our rising stars, but we also want to thank our wonderful partners and sponsors, all of the people that are here on the show and the people that are at the back offices. And so we have all our links here. So let's take, for example, Weichert. So these links are live. And if you press on them, they actually prepared some really interesting stuff for you. So you can read a little bit about the company, but most importantly, you can read the article that they prepared for you. So each one of the companies prepared a really interesting article, and you can go in and read about them. So that would be for each one of our partners and sponsors.
How exciting is that?
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
So well done, Tally, and all the people.
That's actually, I want to thank Bank 5 for that, because he built it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I want you to do, okay? If you are one of our top 100 rising stars, then like Tally said, go onto it, copy the link, post it onto LinkedIn. As if by magic, it'll come up with the logo and everything for you there. Make it featured or pinned so everybody can see. You are a top 100 rising star for an entire year, so you've got 365 days to enjoy it. But also, whether you are a top 100 rising star or not, if you are a supplier or you're somebody that's on a different list, etc., is go on and congratulate. You can congratulate as many people as you want. You click on any name of anybody that you know on there. You can send them a message saying congratulations. And because of cybersecurity, we don't give out their emails, but you send out them, you put the message there, it'll immediately route through and they will get your email. So you can do that. And also, please, everybody, do go and look at our partners' pages. Each partner has got their own microsite up there where we've got the article they wrote, we've got something about them. And we are so grateful to everybody, so grateful to everybody in the audience who's been with us today, so grateful to everybody who's nominated somebody. We're so grateful to our partners who work with us, to everybody, to ECA, to AIRINC, to BDO, to Fragomen, to Weichert, to Deel, to Benevo. Thank you, everybody, so much for being our partners. It's absolutely wonderful. We are pretty much out of time now. We've had the most enjoyable, fabulous hour sharing all this good news. I'm feeling the love as everybody has been congratulating their friends, their colleagues, or the people they know in the industry. We are back again this time next week. When I say we, it won't actually be me. It's going to be led by Peggy Smith, and she's going to be meeting some of our next geners, people who are out there. And I was going to tell you who our guests are next week, our very special guests. I'm delighted to say our very special guest on the show with Peggy Smith will be Kayla Arroyave from Twitter, Stephanie Kuhn from Walmart, and Cheyenne Bryant from BD. So 3 rising stars from 3 amazing companies who are going to be with us again next week. And of course, Julia will be with us for her regular immigration update too. So thank you, everybody. And we will see you all again this time next week. And thank you all very much to our sponsors and friends. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.